This has been the state that I now see everything has been leading me towards. The more expansive, the more mystical, the more present you feel, the more gorgeous this life becomes as a whole. And I just always seem to end up in the right place at the right time, to talk to the right people, to hear the right thing. How it switched me from manifestation and really forced me to shift to the perspective I have of life now, which is I'm feeling really giddy all of a sudden. I don't know why. Just so much joy, so much love, man. So you guys have probably noticed that I've been largely absent this year on my channel, and I just wanted to make a quick video addressing that, letting you guys know what I've been through this year, what's been going on, and what I'm aiming to do with the channel moving forward. And to start that off, I can say that 2025 has been one of the most transformational, challenging, but beautiful years I've ever experienced. I see now that all of it was leading me towards a storyline I could never have imagined. Turns out that kid who made that video in December, can't quite remember his name, all the energy he was feeling, all the predictions he was making, they kind of turned out to be pretty spot on. But yeah, this year got off to a challenging start. I did a dopamine detox in January, and that was literally the first half of January, and we were already off to a crazy start. The amount of traumas I had to face, the amount of fears, and God, all the things that came up during that time where I locked myself away in that cabin with no distractions from my mind. Yeah, a lot came up. But overall, that was a wonderful healing experience. That was amazing. Followed by a not so amazing experience. 2 days after I finished that dopamine detox, my beloved dog of 12 years passed away. Barney, if you've been watching the channel, keeping up with my content for a while, you may have seen him once or twice. He's the bestest boy. But that death hit me very, very hard. Not just because of losing Barney, but because he'd been ill for a while and he'd been deteriorating for a while, and I had been manifesting. I'd been using all of the knowledge, all of the things I'd learned about manifestation from countless manifestation teachers. I'd been doing everything that I thought I could do to manifest his health, visualizing, scripting, and getting to the point where I just naturally assumed and genuinely believed he would get better. And one day I got home from work, and my mum, she was in tears, and she told me that they'd had to have him put down. And that death taught me a lot. All of a sudden I didn't know what to believe anymore about manifestation. It shattered an entire paradigm of belief, and it taught me that I had this really bad unconscious habit of just believing and taking everyone at their word, like people on the internet, if they said something that sounded smart or something that I wanted to be true, I would just believe it. I would take them at their word. So it taught me a lot about healthy discernment and not to just blindly believe everything you hear. But it also taught me a lot about how to grieve and how to just let yourself fully grieve, like let yourself go through all of the stages of grief. Let them all come up, whether you want to scream, cry, whether you're angry, whether you want to plead with God, debate. Basically when Mum delivered the news, she told me that his body was in the back of our family car, and I went out there, I sat over his body, and I just broke down, and I was there for about 4 hours, just letting myself feel everything. And as I was doing this, even though my whole paradigm of beliefs was falling apart, even though I had no idea what to believe anymore, even though I should have been feeling horrific, right? And in a large sense, I felt like I'd been betrayed by God. I felt like I'd been betrayed by life. I felt like I had this connection. I thought I had it figured out. I thought he was going to live, and when he didn't, it just felt like a massive punch to the gut. So I had every reason to feel bad, right? But for some reason, I could feel in the background, behind all the tears, behind all the pain, behind all the pleading and debating and going through all the, bargaining, all the stages of grief, right? I could feel this lightness behind all of it. This feeling, this subtle knowing that everything was okay and everything was going the way it was meant to go. No matter how betrayed I felt, I couldn't shake this feeling. And we buried him the next day. And I filmed a 45-minute just video of me just saying everything I wanted to say to him, getting it all out, leaving nothing on the table, thanking him for being the most amazing dog I could ever ask for. And during that speech and after that speech, I'd realized it was still there, that feeling of everything's okay, everything's going the way it's meant to go. You're not lost. You didn't make a mistake. You didn't mess up the manifestation. You didn't... Like, it was just this overwhelming feeling of love and peace. And at the time I thought, is this Barney's soul comforting me? Is this some spirit guide stuff? Is this some... I don't know, but now I just see it as it was life. Life was letting me know that I was right where I needed to be, and Barney's death, whether I liked it or not, needed to happen. And in hindsight, I see that now, because if it wasn't for Barney's death, I'm not sure I would have then gone and lived with my best friend in Hungary for 3 months. And those 3 months were amazing. I was having dreams about Barney still. I was still feeling a bit low every now and then, but I was just letting myself go through it, letting the emotions come up, letting myself grieve him. And eventually I reached a point of acceptance with all of it. And now I can remember Barney, that beautiful boy, with nothing but love and appreciation and fondness for the life, for the light that he was. And that's beautiful. So it taught me a lot about grieving. But as I said, it led to me living in Hungary with my best friend for 3 months. And we had like this little oasis for 3 months. We were just cooped up in this lake house that her family owns, and we were just... It was like we were in our little private bubble away from the rest of the world. And during that time, I was introduced to a wonderful little fluff ball called Cece. And the way I met Cece was very synchronistic. She was one of my best friend's grandmas. 27 cats, I think, her grandma had. My best friend's Vanda, by the way. You've probably seen her in the comments section on my video quite often. She's wonderful. Some would say Vandaful. I'm so sorry. That's a little joke for her. But yeah, her grandma, who passed away, unfortunately, she had 27 cats while she was still here. And by the time she passed, I think she had like 14. And Cece, this little fluff ball, was one of the cats that was left behind. And Vanda went and brought her to the lake house because she was severely underweight and she needed to go see the vet. So we took her to the vet thinking she might have something like cancer or something like that, and just taking her to the vet and not knowing if she was going to be put down, that again brought up a lot of stuff for me about Barney. So that was another catalyst for healing for me. But turned out she had nothing wrong with her. She was just underfed. Yeah, we went to drop her back off where all the cats were, and I realized how depressing the situation these cats were in was. They have this woman who kind of comes in and feeds them, but doesn't really care for them, right? They're just all cooped up in this house that Vanda's grandma and grandpa used to live in. Yeah, they don't really have any human contact. And when I went in to drop CC off, when me and Vanda went there, all these cats, so many of them were just starved for attention, you could tell, and the whole atmosphere was just depressing. There were some cats that were fine being independent, but there were others that you could tell really, really were craving that human connection, and Cece was one of them. Cece is the neediest little fluff ball I think I've ever seen in my life. And I love her to pieces. So we dropped her off begrudgingly, because there was technically nothing wrong with her. drove back to the lake house, and the next day or 2 days after, I just had this overwhelming feeling of just like, we need to bring her back. We need her back at the lake house. I don't feel comfortable with leaving her there. And it was just this overwhelming feeling of, I can't leave her there. I can't leave her there. So we went and got her, we brought her back and started looking after her, and she kind of became my cat. She was the one that I looked after because my friend Vanda has her own cat called Gumboots, who is also beautiful. Not as beautiful as Cece, obviously. Over time, Cece became mine, and we got a collar engraved for her with my number on it. Yeah, she's my cat now. And currently, Vanda is in Hungary, being the amazing woman she is, looking after Cece for me while I came back to for a few months recently while I try and figure out some sort of work visa or something in order to be able to let me live over there. Because I also have a flat over there now. Yeah, this year's been crazy. This year's been crazy. Turns out Vanda's parents had a flat in Budapest that they didn't really like the tenants of. The tenants weren't great there. So they really wanted someone to take it, and I'd gotten to know them, and thankfully they really liked me, and they offered it to me. And that was synchronistic in and of itself, because as much as I love it, I was really beginning to feel trapped here. I was craving to gain some independence and move out of my family home and see what living alone's like, but also wanting to see what other countries were like as well. So it was incredibly synchronistic. But I've jumped ahead a bit, so let's dial it back a bit. I adopted Cece. This was about summertime now. I came home to work with my dad and work my delivery driving job to get my money back up so I could go back out to Hungary. And during the summer months, I slowly, very begrudgingly, came to the realization that I was in love with my best friend Vanda. And turns out she was in love with me as well. There's a long story with that, with a lot more details, but if I ever make a video diving into that whole storyline, I would love to have her on and talk to her about it so we can share it all with you. Yeah, it's a crazy story with me and her, with ups and downs, but eventually we got together. And turns out I had a lot of trauma when it came to relationships, and it suddenly became clear to me why I was single for 5 years before I ended up with Vanda. So our relationship for me has been a massive catalyst for healing and shadow work and releasing all of these traumas and diving deep. One trauma that stemmed back from when I was like 1 to 2 years old, maybe even earlier than that, maybe a womb memory. I don't know. It was the first shadow work session I've had that went that far back. Yeah, it turns out I had a lot of problems with relationships, with the idea of commitment, traumas from previous relationships, and like I said, even further back. It was actually a beautiful catalyst. It lit a fire under me to do so much more healing work, because I wasn't just doing it for me anymore, I was doing it for her. I didn't want to cause her any unnecessary pain. I didn't want to cause her any more pain than I already was with my uncertainty surrounding everything. One foot in, one foot out, you know. Anyone who's experienced commitment issues or has traumas in that area will know exactly what I mean. So yeah, I had a lot of shadow work sessions, some that spanned over 10 hours a day of just doing pure shadow work, diving deep, letting go of these resistances. And yeah, I remember I had a video call with her, and I looked at her after I'd done this massive shadow work session surrounding a trauma that I'd experienced from one of my previous breakups. I looked at her and I just saw so much more radiance, so much more beauty than I had been seeing before, so much more. She looked angelic, and she does look angelic. She's incredible. I'm just kind of gushing about my girlfriend right now. But you know what? It feels good to gush. It feels nice to gush and to acknowledge and to feel safe, to open myself up so fully to someone, something so vulnerable as loving and committing to another person, and allowing them in fully, you know? I love her to death, and I would love to have her on the channel at some point, so all of you guys can meet her. And actually, I just remembered she will be on the channel at some point very soon, because I've got a bunch of backlogged videos that I need to edit, videos I filmed this year, and the oldest video we filmed last December, which is the one with Vanda about cold water exposure and how that's really helped me and how it helped her. Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to see that one. That one was filmed, yeah, like I said, last December, and I just haven't got around to editing it at all. I might make a video going more in depth into everything I learned, the journey I went on with Barney, and what that did for me, and how that changed my whole perspective, how it switched me from manifestation, you know, that realm of thinking, oh, anything's possible, I'm the god of my reality, I can have anything I want, if I can visualize it, I can have it, I'm in charge, and really forced me to shift to the perspective I have of life now, which is one of surrender. And this has been the state that I now see everything, not just this year, but my whole life, everything has been leading me towards. For those of you who don't know what surrender is, it's essentially acknowledging full well that you don't know best. And this is why the ego hates it. This is why surrender to the ego sounds disgusting. Because the ego is all about control. It's all about, I'm going to force and manipulate, and I'm going to manifest, and I'm going to make my reality up exactly the way I want it, so that then I'll be happy, then I'll be fulfilled. And it's like, surrender is the point that a lot of people say they reach after they go through the whole maybe self-improvement journey, manifestation journey, like I did. And they realize that there's a higher power here that knows far, far, far more than you, than your mind, your physical brain can ever imagine. And it's this realization that the highest thing that you could possibly imagine, the greatest vision you have for your life, that you think is the absolute ceiling, it can't get higher than that, this higher intelligence more than likely sees that vision as the floor. And the more I've surrendered, the more I've let go of attachments to ideas, to people, to things, to places, to all these things that I thought I needed, to all these ideas that I had about what happiness was for me, what a good life was to me, the more I've let go of those attachments, the more I've just been shown that life truly knows best. I wanted Barney to live. I wanted Barney to survive more than anything, not just because I love him to death and I didn't want him to leave, but because I also wanted him to be the solid proof. He was going to be the solid proof that the way I thought about manifestation, the way I saw manifestation was correct. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And you guys remember how I was saying how there was this background energy of everything's okay, everything's working out exactly the way it's meant to, even though I was literally going through the height of grief at the time. And I realize now that that was surrender. That was this higher power, higher self, soul, whatever you want to call it. There's loads of names for it. Universe. It was letting me know that everything was going exactly the way it was meant to. And yeah, if Barney hadn't died, most of you know the butterfly effect, right? The ripple effect. This year would have ended up completely different. I may not have adopted Cece. I may not have decided to go to Hungary for the length of time that I did. Therefore, I may not have ended up moving into that flat and taking that leap. Hell, I may have even missed out on dating the most amazing girl I've ever dated. This year could have turned out completely different, and I can tell you for a fact I definitely wouldn't have ended up in a place of fully living and fully embodying surrender. Because I wouldn't have had that catalyst. I wouldn't have had all of my beliefs about manifestation torn down the way they were, and I'd still have the pretty bad habit of just believing anything people say on the internet because it sounds smart, or it sounds attractive, or it sounds nice, or I want it to be true. And I don't mean to poo-poo on anyone's parade if they're having a lot of success. If any of you are having a lot of success with manifestation and visualizing and getting the things you want, more power to you. Keep doing it. If it's working for you, fantastic. But for me, I was led on a very different journey this year, and I feel so much better living life this way, living in flow, trusting my intuition, and just knowing that whatever steps I feel compelled to take, however life feels compelled to move through me, I know that I'm always taking the best possible action I could ever take. And for someone who used to struggle with overthinking and doubting every decision he made and getting stuck in analysis paralysis and being overwhelmed, trying to like control everything, feeling like I was completely responsible for everything in my entire reality, like hell, surrender feels so much better. And I've been living it truly, fully embodied, not just knowing it as a concept like I have done for a while, but actually truly getting to the point where I was forced to live it and have been living it for about 2 months now. I can see that everything gets done in its own time. Everything that needs to be done gets done, and everything that doesn't need to be done doesn't get done, even if it's something that you're very attached to. If it doesn't get done, it doesn't need to get done. And I just always seem to end up in the right place at the right time to talk to the right people, to hear the right thing. It's just an explosion of synchronicity. The more you just trust your heart and let go of listening to your mind, the more expansive, the more mystical, the more present you feel, the more gorgeous this life becomes as a whole. It's so paradoxical. You know, the ego sees surrender as weakness, as passivity, as helplessness, as failure. And it's everything but. And I've learned personally from my experience that knowing that you don't know best is actually the most intelligent way to live. Living in not faith, not trusting, but knowing, like truly knowing that things are always working out for your highest good if you just trust your intuition, trust your flow. And I made a video on this actually back in 2024. It was like, I think it was something to do with like finding your passion, finding your true calling. And I talked about this way of living back then, but from the structure, from the description of a person known as Bashar, the whole follow your excitement formula. And I feel like I'm truly actually living that way now. I realized that like that way of living is just like a kind of different way of breaking down the whole process of living in surrender, of flowing with life, of letting go of the separate self, the person that you think you've been, the character that you think you've been, truly letting that character go and just allowing life to just animate you and move through you in the way that's for your highest good. And a lot of people think this is like giving over power to something else, but no, you are that you're not separate from that power. That power, the way I see it, the way I feel it, is your true self. It's the real you. And this whole letting go of control that feels so scary is actually just you letting go of this false sense of control, this like false sense of power. You're letting go of this pseudo control. You're letting go of illusion. And on a larger scale, you're letting go of the whole character, the whole identity that you thought you were, the whole person that felt they needed to control everything and control life and weren't able to trust that if they just let go, life will catch them. So yeah, it's been a big year. It's been a big year for me. Damn, look at that moon. Woo. God damn. Look at this view. Oh, I don't know if you could see. Yeah, there you go. It's a nice view. This is one of my favorite spots in my hometown where I live, and I love it. It's called Sunset Spot. But yeah, I think that kind of gave you guys an overall view. That had way more detail than I planned it to have. I meant for this to just be a quick message of to where I've been and what my goals moving forward are with the channel, which I'm not sure if I've said yet, so I'm going to say it now just in case. My goals moving forward with this channel, my intentions are to start uploading again. I'm excited. I feel it's finally time to come back to this channel. Life is filling me with inspiration and flowing me back towards this channel, so it truly feels like it's time to come back. My ego wanted to come back a lot sooner and was trying to like force and pressure and stuff, but I recently did some shadow work on that, and funny enough, I found out that that attachment to coming back to this channel and that impatience of like, oh, I want to get back on YouTube, I need to get back on YouTube, like I need to start uploading again, was actually getting in the way of my genuine passion for YouTube, because now I feel more excited than ever to do it, and it feels like it's truly the right time. It feels divinely guided. But yeah, so the way I want to move forward with this channel is I would like to, and I'm going to intend for, one video a week, or at the very least one video every 2 weeks. The funny thing is about living in surrender is that I can make intentions like this, but I don't know. I don't know where life's going to take me. I don't know what's actually going to be the upload schedule. I don't know if there's going to be any more long gaps. I don't know. I can't promise you guys anything because I don't know the future, but I can make a plan. I can make a plan and I can intend for it. So I'm going to intend to be uploading one video every week, one video every 2 weeks, at the very least one video a month. I just want to start posting again, man. Yeah, I'm sorry I can't give you guys like some rigid kind of surefire structure. I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know how this channel is going to evolve. I don't know what the upload schedule is actually going to end up being, but I know that whatever it is, or wherever I go, or whatever I do, it's going to be the best thing that's for my highest good, and therefore for the good of everyone. So it feels so weird trying to like make solid like plans and solid structures from this place. Yeah, maybe the longer I follow it, I'll eventually reach a place that's more balanced, where I can make more structured plans and also live in surrender. I don't know, or I don't know if I'm just constantly going to be living in the unknown from now on. I have no idea. All I know is that I'm really happy. I've reached a place of deep peace, the deepest peace I've felt in a long time, and I want to share that with you guys. I want to share that energy with you guys, and I'm excited to come back. Oh, I changed the channel name. I forgot to say, I mean, you guys have probably already realized that by now, but the channel's called Shore of Soul now, as in like us over here are sure of soul, like we're certain of soul, you know, we follow soul. Yeah, it's a play on word. My last name's Shore. I thought it was a clever play on words. I think it worked. I liked it. I don't know if I'm going to change it. But I like it. I like it for now. Let me know what you guys think of the channel name, if you like it, if you don't like it. I don't know if I'm going to change it either way, but I just want to kind of hear your thoughts. I'm feeling really giddy all of a sudden. I don't know why. Just so much joy, so much love, man. It feels like I've finally come out the end of a really dark tunnel. But there were also moments of beautiful light within that dark tunnel. It's been a mixed bag of a year, as you guys can probably tell. But yeah, I want you guys to know I'm feeling good, and I hope you're all feeling good. And I will see you guys. I'm going to stop rambling now. I will see you guys in the next video. Let's fade out the video on that beautiful view, huh? Just don't worry, I'm just adjusting the focus. That's actually not the view. It's hard to adjust the focus on these flip phones because it does it automatically. There we go. All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.